You may remember this story emanating out of Lincoln University in Missouri. This concerns the suicide of former Vice President of Student Affairs, Bonnie Candia-Bailey. Critics and Bonnie pointed their finger at the president of the university, John Moseley. In a long, unhinged diatribe written by Bonnie on the day she took her own life, she exhibited all of the hallmarks of an impossible employee, which included divulging sensitive and private conversations she had with her colleagues, who will now have some explaining to do to the president of the university. By the way, one of the reasons Moseley fired her was her habit of divulging confidential personnel matters. At any rate, the university investigated President Moseley's handling of Bonnie's mental illness issues and cleared him. And not everyone is happy. Hello out there. I am trying to get through.
With cold, blunt analysis, cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnny Walker Dread to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's the Johnny Walker Dread Show.
And by everyone, I am specifically referring to Rashad Ritchie. Here we go.
An update, very sad story.
That is true. That is the last thing we will agree on in this video.
We reported on this when it first happened. Put up the picture full mask.
And by put up the picture full mask, what he means is show the white dude. I mean, that's exactly what he's thinking about here. As far as Rashad is concerned, just the picture of the two side by side should settle the matter. Never mind that the dude on the left is married to a black woman and has a black child. And he's also the president of a historically black college, and in his previous career stint was the athletic director at the same historically black college, and prior to that was an administrator at a historically black college. This is hardly the racist KKK member, but as far as Rashad is concerned, he's white, therefore he's like all the rest of them.
An update to a story we brought you earlier this year. Lincoln University President Dr. John Moseley has been cleared, that's the white male, has been cleared of any wrongdoing.
And if you haven't figured out the angle yet, he tells you it's the white male, because we would have thought that maybe the one on the right was John Moseley. Sure.
After Antoinette Bonnie Candia-Bailey, the university's VP of Student Affairs, took her own life amidst claims that he was bullying her and making life unbearable. Moseley returned to work on March 15th after an independent investigation found no evidence that he bullied his fellow administrator. He received paid leave during the entirety of the investigation. Victor Paisley, the president of the university's board.
By the way, why wouldn't he be paid for his time off? I mean, he's done nothing wrong, at least as far as the university found.
Board of curators said in a statement following the reinstatement that, quote, for us, this report is not the end of a process, but rather the beginning of one. None of its findings have led the board to doubt President Moseley's ability to lead the university.
None of its findings have led the board to doubt President Moseley's ability to lead the university. Essentially, they investigated and found out that she was the problem. And I told you that in previous videos. I'll link them in the description below. I said that she was the issue. She was unhinged and a cancer in the office.
But this tragedy has forced us to grapple more fully with the issues facing Lincoln and our individual students and employees, ranging from mental health support to employee work and relationships.
That's called boilerplate.
Quote. So according to documents originally obtained by local news stations, documents sent to KRCG and written by the vice president of student affairs herself.
And that actually undermines its credibility. She needed a third party to come in and say, yeah, I saw this happening. But all of the complaints are emanating from her.
On the day she took her own life, outlining University President Dr. John Moseley as causing, quote, enough harm and mental damage, end quote.
And I read that email in a previous video. She was unhinged and basically told everybody willing to read it where the problem was, her. She was impossible.
Multiple emails obtained by someone close to Ms. Bailey and shared with KRCG shows she sent emails to Moseley and the Board of Curators outlining Bailey's request for family and medical leave, and ADA, Americans with Disabilities Act. State that the relationship between her and Moseley went downhill due to her severe depression and anxiety.
All right, a few things here. One, multiple emails obtained by someone close to her that she sent to Moseley. Why does that other person have her emails? Well, guess what? One of the reasons why she was fired was divulging sensitive, confidential personnel matters to others. Okay? And so, yeah, this is right down her alley. The other one is she was requesting FMLA and ADA leave from her job after she had only been on the job for a few months. You can't do that. You can't join an employer and then want to go home, hang around in your jammies, and have all of your colleagues do your work for you just because you have anxiety. If you can't handle the job mentally, don't take the job. But can you imagine? Here's President Moseley. He hired her. He wanted her to do well. I mean, he's no racist. He's married to a black woman. He wanted her to do well. Again, he hired her, and she disappointed him in short order. She was unhinged and impossible to work with, a cancer in the office. And right away, she's wanting to go home and have other people do her work for her while she hangs around on leave. And of course, he denied it. The university didn't hire her to go on leave. They hired her to do a job, and she couldn't do it.
Sources state that Dr. Bailey was left unsupported, disregarded, and abused after countless attempts to speak out on the bullying and harassment she experienced in her role from President Moseley.
Sources, plural? There's only one quote there. So who made it? How do we even know it's genuine?
Dr. Bailey also reportedly discussed in a letter before her passing the stigmatized bullying she faced from the president and other leadership officials after disclosing her mental illness to the university.
Yeah, that letter was absolutely crazy. It went on for like, I don't know, about 10 pages or something like that. And in that letter, she divulged personnel matters that is going to have a whole bunch of people apologizing to the president, which is precisely the problem. And she spent a lot of the letter trying to tell President Moseley how to do his job. Maybe Moseley is a tough boss. Well, there are tough bosses out there. Everybody has their own management style. They don't have to govern the university in the way that you want them to. That's the way it goes. And you have no right to tell them how to run their affairs.
Additional emails reveal that when she made complaints about how she was treated to the Board of Curators, the board president wrote a response back to her that said in part, quote, please be advised, the Board of Curators does not engage in the management of personnel issues for Lincoln University and will not be taking further action related to this issue. So Ms. Bailey wrote that she was intentionally harassed and bullied, and that after receiving a poor evaluation, when she asked for help, Moseley ignored requests, failing to respond to emails, or when face-to-face, danced around the topic.
In other words, he gave up on her. He hired her, had a lot of hopes for her. She turned out to be an office cancer, and within a few months, he decided, man, I just want her out of here. She's telling me how to do my job. She's blabbing to everybody personnel matters that don't involve her. And now she has come to me to tell her how to do her job better. Okay, I'm out. I can almost guarantee you that that's what President Moseley thought to himself. I just want her to go away. And by the way, failing to respond to emails, according to him, she was sending out emails like at 2 o'clock in the morning. I mean, she became obsessed with the job. She was an alumnus of the university, and for some reason that made her think that she had some sort of lock on how to run things there. Sorry, nobody cares if you went to the school.
In her final email to Moseley on the day of her death, Ms. Bailey also asked for only select members of her sorority to be allowed to collect her things, saying, quote, Roseanne can speak with my family from the administration. You are not to have any contact. You've caused enough harm and mental damage. The university administration and board of curators are now under heavy fire from alumni online. Everybody is now basically going to get some of this smoke because of the lack of leadership provided. And just because you are prohibited from managing personnel matters, you are not prohibited from bringing up liability issues if you are on the board.
Oh, yes, you are. If breaking up liability issues involves getting involved in personnel matters that you are not allowed to do, then you can't do that. Keep in mind, President Moseley can sue as well. This is a state-run institution. There are probably state laws governing whether the Board of Curators can get involved in personnel issues. Did you ever stop to think about that, Rashad? You're supposed to be the hotshot upcoming lawyer. Look up the laws. It's a public university. The rule is very simple. If the Board of Curators do not have the authority to get involved in personnel matters, they don't have the authority. They can't do it. If they do, then President Moseley can turn around and sue the university. I can't believe that anybody who claims to have had as much legal instruction as he has can't understand that. There are laws in place about this. There are university policies. You have to follow them. And no, the fact that she was black and he's white doesn't mean that you can break policy, no matter how badly you want to.
As part of your job. It's called fiscal responsibility. All right.
Now, being fiscally responsible means not violating university policy and getting sued by the president of the university.
So the cop-out is evident. A very sad story. Person has been cleared. How do you go back to that? Because no matter how you spin it or what people tell you, this woman said, listen, you're responsible for me doing this.
She was entitled to her opinion. That doesn't make it right. And the evidence all points to her being the real problem. And that's just the way it is. Too bad, man. Just because a person kills himself doesn't mean that everything that they claim is correct. The mere fact that she committed suicide should tell you that she had severe mental illness problems. And guess what? Severe mental illness problems can cause problems in the workplace. And by the way, her own dissertation pointed to her being a problem, and that was Moseley's big mistake. When a person has written a dissertation on how difficult the workplace environment is, then that person is going to be a problem. They're telling you that they're on the lookout for any kind of grievance. Don't hire those people. Come on, Moseley, learn your lesson here.
Period.
It's quite sad. There's no other way to put it. And
yeah, I'm not going to listen to this dingling. He adds nothing to the discussion, and he's not entertaining. At least Rashad is entertaining, right? But yeah, enough of this. Like my video and subscribe to my channel.